Ever wanted to think like a real scientist? Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to build your very own scientific toolkit, piece by piece, using this awesome visual guide.
I mean, seriously, how do scientists figure out what's happening at the bottom of the ocean, or how to land a rover on another planet? It's not magic, I promise. It's actually a way of thinking that anyone, and I mean anyone, can learn.
And that's the secret right there. It's a specific set of tools and ideas that help them ask really smart questions and find answers they can trust. So, what do you say? Let's crack open this toolkit and see what's inside.
All right, first up, the very first tool for any scientific quest is the model. This is how scientists start to make sense of a really complicated world. Think about it. You can't hold an atom in your hand, right? Or the entire solar system? Of course not. So scientists create models to help them visualize, understand, and even make predictions about things that are way too big or way too small or just too complex to mess with directly. And these models come in all sorts of flavors. You've got your physical models, like a model car or a globe, stuff you can actually touch and feel. Then there are conceptual models, which are more like drawings, say a diagram of the water cycle. It helps you see the idea. We also have mathematical models that use the language of math, like equations, to describe how things are related. Think E equals mc squared. And finally, you have powerful computational models, which are basically computer programs that can simulate really complex stuff, like predicting where a hurricane is going to go.
Okay, so now that we have our models, it's time to start building the blueprints of reality. And for that, we need the big three ideas that every scientist uses. We're talking about the hypothesis, the law, and the theory. First on the list is the hypothesis. This is your starting point, your educated guess. It's got to be a really specific, testable idea. It's that what-if question that kicks off the whole investigation. Next up is a law, and this is completely different. A law doesn't explain why something happens, but it describes what happens, perfectly every single time. It's like a rule in a game that never, ever changes. Like the law of gravity. What goes up must come down. It's tested, and it's true. And this brings us to the big one, the theory. Now listen up, because this is important. In everyday life, you might hear someone say, oh, it's just a theory, like it's some random hunch. In science, a theory is the exact opposite. It is a huge, evidence-backed explanation for how and why a whole bunch of things happen. It's not just one idea, it's like the whole library, built from tons and tons of successful tests and observations. So you've got your models, you've got a hypothesis, now what? How do you actually test it? Let's get to the action-packed part of the toolkit. How scientists go out and gather evidence.
But before you can test anything, you have to understand the secret ingredient, variables. These are the key to any experiment or study. They're all the different factors that can change or be changed.
Okay, so there are three main players you got to know. First, the independent variable. That's the one thing you, the scientist, are going to change on purpose to see what happens. In this picture, it's the amount of water. Second is the dependent variable. That's what you measure. Its outcome depends on what you changed. So here, it's the plant's height. And finally, the super important controlled variables. That's everything else you have to keep exactly the same to make sure it's a fair test. Like the same soil, the same pot, the same amount of sunlight.
Now, using these variables, scientists can set up two main kinds of investigations. On one hand, you have a controlled experiment. This usually happens in a lab, where the scientist can carefully control everything and just change that one independent variable. It's great for finding cause and effect. On the other hand, you have an observational study. This is where scientists just watch what's happening out in nature, like a diver studying a coral reef. They just collect data without changing a thing. So if you want to run your own fair test, the recipe is actually pretty simple. 1. Figure out the single thing you want to test. That's your independent variable. 2. Decide what you're going to measure. That's your dependent variable. And 3. This is the key to the whole thing. Keep absolutely everything else the same. Those are your controls.
All right, the experiment is done. The observations are collected. Now what? You're sitting on a pile of data. It's time for our final tool, the one that helps us decode the clues hidden in all that information. And a lot of the time, that means looking at graphs.
Sometimes your data shows a really clear pattern, like this line that goes straight up. This is called direct proportionality. It's super simple. When one thing goes up, the other thing goes up too. They move together. Kind of like the more you study, the higher your grade gets. Or you might find the total opposite. See this line that slopes down? That's inverse proportionality. When one variable goes up, the other one goes down. For instance, the more hours you spend playing video games, the less time you have for homework. They move in opposite directions.
And then sometimes you just get this, a scatter plot where the dots are just all over the place. This means there is no correlation. The two things you measured have nothing to do with each other. It's like saying the number of pets you have has any effect on your shoe size. It doesn't.
And that's it. Models, hypotheses, variables, fair tests, and decoding data. These are the fundamental tools every single scientist uses to figure out how our world works. So there's really only one question left. Now that you have the scientist toolkit, what mystery are you going to solve first?